Our cast iron skillet, which is definitely the best for searing a steak like this, because it's nice and heavy, holds on to heat really well. Heat our cast iron skillet, and it's probably somewhere between 350 and 375. I'm going to pour your oil in just to heat it up and pour off just enough, so just enough covering the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to turn the fan on because it's probably getting a little smoky here. We're going to sear our steaks. We're not trying to cook them all the way through yet. Maybe we're not going to sear our steaks. Crap. There's a little water in the pan. That's my problem. But yeah, this is what not to do. If you put your steak in the pan and it doesn't start to sizzle immediately, your pan's not hot enough, turn it back up, take your steak out, and we'll wait. But I think we're getting there. Turn the heat up a little bit. We're gonna wait on the second one, so at least one of them will look really nice, and I can have like a final shot. Again, and this steak, hit the sizzle immediately, so it's hot enough. Basically, you just want to let it sit there until it's got a nice crust on one side, and then you're ready to flip, get a nice crust on that side, and take it out of the pan. And we're gonna build a pan sauce, which is pretty involved procedure, so you might want to take notes. Just so. Sounds good. Basically, you can sear every side you can get it to stand up on. Every side that's big enough to support the weight of the steak. Sear it, because that's just more flavor. Now that we've seared, we're going to remove our steak to a side plate. And these are not remotely cooked all the way through, so don't snack on them just yet. But we've now got our steaks out. You see all this stuff on the bottom. It's nice and a lot of flavor there. So we're going to proceed and saute our mushrooms. Again, it's however many you want. I like mushrooms, so there's going to be a lot of mushrooms. And our shallots. I don't particularly care for that much shallot, so just a little bit of that for the flavor. And this is where heat control comes in. The shallots and mushrooms are both pretty fragile, so they will burn quickly. Basically keep moving them. You want a hot pan so that your proteins will cook, but you don't want it so hot that you end up burning everything. Just kind of keep an eye on it. Add a little more oil to the pan if you need to, because your mushrooms are like big sponges. They're just going to soak it up. If you want to, you can abandon the tongs and just flip it like that. It's more fun, easier, and looks more impressive. Don't try it. Let's see. So our veggies have started to cook down quite a bit now. As you can see, they nearly covered the entire bottom of the pan before, and now they barely cover half. And we're going to do what people in the business call deglaze with an acid. A lot of times people deglaze with wine. The wine's pretty expensive. And so we're going to deglaze with beer. And basically just pour some on the bottom. And it'll foam up nicely. And just let it heat. And you're going to sit there and let it bubble out until you reach what's called au sec, which is French term for almost dry. You'll see a little bit of liquid in the pan, but not a lot. Basically just let it get as dry as possible, and then you'll start to build your sauce. We're going to drop our fries in the oil now. It's about 375 degrees. And be very careful when you do this. If it's probably easiest just to get them all in one container and then you throw it away from you. Because if not, it's going to be in your hand. Watch that later. Don't touch that for a second until the bubbling goes down. There's a little too much water on those potatoes. Make sure you dry them very well, like I did. Basically, this should be another 3-4 minutes. The potatoes will be done, and we've just about reached the proper stage. Steaks we have actually. This is what's referred to as au sec. There's very little liquid left in the pan, but there still is some. So we're going to start to build our sauce, which is going to be basically a pepper cream sauce. I'm going to start with these out just a little bit to proper consistency, and then we're going to add cream, that is flavor. It's going to be really tasty. Basically just stir it to combine it. And then we're going to return our steaks to our sauce. Let them sit there. Once our sauce begins to simmer, steaks will continue to cook and they'll finish up cooking there in the pan. You want to keep your fries moving once your oil evaporates all your water out of your fries that you forgot to dry out first. You want to keep your fries moving so they'll stick together and you end up with one big French fry instead of a lot of French fries. It's a lot easier to eat when you have a bunch of little ones instead of one giant one. Basically just keep them moving. Once you separate them for the first time, they should stay separate. And then you're going to watch your sauce do this. Basically, turn your steaks every few minutes. Wait until your sauce reaches what we call nappe, which is where you take a wooden spoon, put it in there, and you'll coat the back of the spoon. That's not quite there. See, it starts to, when I do that, it starts to drip back into the line. So we're going to let it continue to cook. Reduce. Using one of the 3 R's of thickening a pan sauce, which is reduction, because we're basically simmering our sauce until all the water is cooked out and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker as that happens. Taste your food when it's about done. Our sauce here is getting a little thicker as it, not really simmers, this is boiling, but that's okay because we want this to reduce. I always want to taste your food for flavor, seasoning. I want a mushroom, so I'm going to try a little harder to get a mushroom. Let it cool and take a bite. I'm really hot. It's really good. You taste it, you don't like the flavor, season it. Salt usually helps a lot, it just brings out the other flavors you have. And but if you're happy with the flavor, it's alright. Just wait till it gets to the proper thickness, which it still isn't. But if you're happy with the flavor, just let it thicken to the proper thickness and you're good to serve it. Basically our fries are in our bowl now, and we're going to take a nice handful of just salt, which is really all fries need, and just toss the fries.
I think you're fine.
Alright. Here, crunch. You're good. Get another one because they're really good. And then after you have your fries seasoned, you can lay them out flat. A rack, like a cooling rack, set over another pan with napkins or paper towels on the bottom so the grease will drip down and get the napkins and not on your plate. Is this really gross to see grease on your plate? Good fries. A plate now, and a traditional method in cooking or whatever is to use your starch as a support for your protein. So we're going to start a nice handful of fries right in the middle. If I can make this look pretty. I'm not really good at this. Basically just a big stack of fries right in the middle. Then we're going to take one of our steaks that have rested. I think this one looks the best. Take one of our steaks and just slice it a little bit, just to make it have layers. It's not just a big chunk of meat sitting on a plate.